It's been a mystery for so long.
Endeavour's huge.
It's really exciting.
Well, it should have been. And then the ship fight broke out.
We have a difference of opinion.
I'd have to disagree.
The jury's still out as far as I'm concerned.
The shipwreck.
The marred announcement of the discovery of Endeavour, and later, the remarkable fact. That is an incredible coincidence, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Endeavour has always been a symbol of our heritage and other nations. The ship that took Cook on the voyage of discovery to the South Pacific, New Zealand, and of course, Australia. And while many Indigenous people see it as an invader ship, either way, there is no denying.
It is part of a history.
This is Australia's replica Endeavour, but no one knows the real one more than maritime archaeologists Kieran Hosty and James Hunter, who've examined it on more than 100 dives.
It's taken us 22 years to get to this point.
The English-built Endeavour, they say, lies on the seabed off Newport, Rhode Island, on America's east coast, where it ended up after its voyage down under. Used as a transport ship, it was eventually stripped and scuttled by the English during the American Revolution, when there were fears it was going to be captured by the Republicans. Kieran, how do we know what remains there is actually the Endeavour?
Over the time, we've examined 8 shipwrecks in Newport Harbour, and we've taken them all off that list. It's either too small, built by the Americans, it's too pointy. We're on Endeavour now, and to put it bluntly, it's built like a brick.
There are many wrecks in Newport Harbour. They needed something definitive to find Endeavour, and then a document was discovered.
Records in England from the person who sank the transports, Lieutenant Knowles. He listed the ships and where he sank them.
The search came down to 5 ships in that site.
Wow, look at that. That links up. That's fantastic.
And just one of the 5 kept ticking the boxes. Same timber as Endeavour, same bilge pump well, same unique shape.
But I think the really compelling bit of all of this was the discovery of what's called a scarf. That specific scarf was identical to the Endeavour plans.
None of the other ships were anywhere near the same. Peter, I love your title, the Head of Knowledge.
It's one I wear with pride. You know,
Yes,
and,
Dr. Peter Hobbins
basically means
is the Head of Knowledge at our National Maritime Museum, which has been sponsoring the search.
It really is one vessel, one ship, that's touched half of the globe.
He's convinced, but there are doubters.
It would be wonderful to know that there are items on the ocean floor there that do come from Endeavour.
Rob Mundell is a maritime author and yachting commentator, even wrote the book on Endeavour, and believes an artefact would be the best confirming evidence.
The galley area where they did all the cooking down below was encased in bricks. Now, if they could find one of those bricks, they'd know that that area on the bottom of the bay was where Endeavour was.
Yes, we are finding bricks on the site. Those bricks are just typical 1760s, 1770s bricks. Nothing special about them.
The Americans would like an artefact too. Our conclusions will be driven by a proper scientific process and not Australian emotions or politics, says the head of the Rhode Island Marine Archaeology Project. What did the Americans want to prove that this is Endeavour?
I think what they're looking for is the artefact. They're unhappy with the largest artefact of all, which is the ship. They're looking for a tiny artefact, a button associated with a member of the crew, or the ship's bell, or something with Cook's name on it, something like that.
But you don't always find that in wrecks.
You don't find that on wrecks. Not one that's been scuttled, stripped, scuttled. If the bell was ever there, it's gone. Some guy knocked it off for the bronze all those years ago.
The wreck of the Batavia off West Australia was identified the same way, without artefacts. So now the museum, the archaeologists and the Australian government is satisfied. The wreck itself is proof enough.
I'm very happy to make that conclusion. And I hope eventually they will see that as well.
We're convinced We're happy to go out to the world and say all of that evidence adds up. There can be no other solution other than that this shipwreck on the bottom of Newport Harbour is Endeavour.
Now, what of that remarkable fact?
It was just the most amazing effort.
You may recall it too, when little old Australia took the America's Cup away from the Yanks off Newport, Rhode Island.
And the wreck itself was found in that same area we sailed in 1983.
In the same waters, just a little bit further north, just a smidge further north.
Maybe Alan Bond and John Bertram had a little bit of help from a Captain Cook.
Maybe done.
How much remains there today?
We've had anchoring and we've had dredging and we've had harbour operations and all that sort of stuff. So we're down to about 10%.
Kieran, is it possible to bring even just a little bit up?
Be careful not to memorialise the ship so much. It is a contentious vessel, and I think it's just as important for Rhode Islanders to have the vessel there. So I think we should leave it there.
We have no interest in bringing back the wreckage of Endeavour to Australia. We've got our own Endeavour right here, and you can go sailing on it whenever you like.